Speaking of Big, and I don't know if this is true or not, but maybe you can tell me, because I always heard this rumor. Is it true that the main girl in the Big Poppa video is a transsexual?
Yeah. Yeah. That's the girl. The girl. Yeah.
It was a transsexual in there, and she ended up getting.
Yeah, I heard the same thing too, man. I think that that gingerbread, the transgender, they kill themselves or whatever.
I mean, not Gandil making all of us flood the comment section of Biggie's Big Poppa like it's a new release, and to be quite honest, after watching his interview, I can never hear the song the same way again. What do you mean the love interest in the song was trans with all the things I've heard about Biggie Honey? It's hella sus. Also, I don't know why I even decided to go down the Biggie-Trans-BI rabbit hole, cause the things I dug up are shocking, guys. If you want to know the truth about what was really going on there, stick around. Also, what's this I'm hearing about Tupac Shakur allegedly being a bi for ops when he was in prison?
Brother was not living the truth. Wasn't living who he was. I'll take that to my grave. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. Anybody who lives a lie is going to not heal. I mean, you don't get away with a lie in any way. You skirting from the truth, your system knows that. And when it comes down to it, if you're not authentic, you're not who you are.
And that he was basically a gay man playing the character of a gangster womanizer.
I feel like if you can't respect yourself, then you can't respect your race, then you can't respect another's race, then you can't respect, it just has to do with respect, like my mother taught me. So what we're doing is starting the Black Panthers again in Marin City, just getting first teaching pride, and then teaching education, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
It's 2024, and y'all have literally decided that you won't let the legends rest. But you know what, I'm personally here for all that hot stanking mess, and we are going to begin with those allegations about Biggie. So anyone who has cared for some tea knows that there have always been rumors about how Biggie was into trans women. In fact, there were rumors that he used to travel to DC with Diddy and share the same trans women rumors. Okay, just rumors, don't come after me and you, who we've had another section of people who have always been convinced that Biggie was actually bi.
$200 the other day on Biggie. You want to know why?
On Biggie?
On
Biggie gay.
You want to know why?
Who killed Biggie?
No, listen, you want to know why? Because they betted me that Biggie was bisexual.
Really? Why?
I betted $200 he wasn't.
Why?
And they played 4 or 5 songs of Biggie saying bisexual, talk about he has sucked a dad, a
daddy dick. RuPaul.
RuPaul.
Some weird shit. He said some wild shit.
I lost $200.
Okay, when it comes to the allegation that Biggie was into trans women, a lot of people draw the conclusion from Big's music videos like Big Poppa. Like, tell me why Big had 2 trans women, and one of them, Shamika, was in other Biggie videos. For reference, Shamika is also in the Warning video with Biggie in bed, and she was also in the Flavor in Your Ear remix as she dances behind LL, who had his own alleged dealings with trans women. Child, I know what you all are going to say. Rappers don't cast the dancers for the videos, and most likely wouldn't have had a clue who was what. That's true. But when it comes to someone like Shima, who was not in just a couple of Biggie videos, but other videos for Bad Boy Records, they had to know. Plus, in Big Poppa, one of the trans women is shown paying at the urinal with other men, meaning they either knew or put that part in there as a joke, which also doesn't make sense at all. What's more is that in the video for Flavor in Your Ear, Shika is seen right after LL Hole is out, he, she. So you cannot tell me that these people did not know exactly what they were doing when casting Biggie. Probably also knew and approved, and there have always been 2 angles to this one. He was just ahead of his time, and it really didn't matter to him that the women were trans or 2. He was into trans women like people always suspected. I don't know, baby. I'm not one to judge, cuz to each his or her own, and people really have the right to choose to be with whomever they want. What I'm more concerned about is what happened to Shima, because allegedly she was and alive now. I'm not sure if it had anything to do with her involvement with the rappers, but I've seen threads claiming that her boyfriend was the one who owned her. Now, do you think it had anything to do with how close she was to the rappers like Biggie, still on Biggie, and how he identified? We've had a few people claim that they believe Biggie was by Majorly because of some of his lyrics, like DJ Academics, for instance.
Then I'm looking at some of the lyrics and I'm like, yo, you look so good, I want to suck on your daddy's penis. I'm like,
Daddy's dick. That's actually, that's a Richard Pryor line that he adopted. Richard Pryor actually said that in a comedy special.
Yeah, but Richard Pryor was gay too. So it's like, you getting your inspiration from a gay man found you, and the other guy is having freak offs with men. I'm just saying, like, in the midst of it, it might, again, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I don't say that to like make anybody feel like I'm trying to downplay his legacy or nothing like that. Even if he was gay, so what?
Yeah, so what now? Something else that DJ Academics said was that he was making his assumptions based on Biggie's proximity, and he just so happened to be around Diddy and Mr. C a lot.
And I looked this up. Did you accuse Biggie of being bisexual?
I didn't accuse him of being bisexual. I said that there is a possibility he could have been. We don't know. I mean, he's deceased. I'm not speaking ill of the dead, but I'm like, I'm only putting two and two together. His DJ was homosexual or bisexual.
Wait, who?
DJ
Mr. C? That wasn't his DJ.
Oh, what was it?
Mr. C discovered Biggie and brought him to Puffy.
Okay, well, hey, listen.
He was not his actual DJ.
Okay. Well,
I believe DJ Enough was his DJ.
Okay, thank you for putting me on game with that.
Yes.
But I'm just going by proximity. If you around 5 homosexuals, I'm thinking you might be the
Who else is gay? I mean, I guess maybe Puffy?
Diddy?
Speaking of Mr. C, for those who recall, some time back, Mr. C was making a lot of headlines for sleeping with trans women, and after much talk of the incident in the media, C resigned from his spot on Hot 97. Remember, he had pulled guilty to public loudness and exposure charges after being arrested for allegedly engaging in an intimate act with a man in a parked car, and he was arrested in New York City after allegedly soliciting intimacy from an undercover male police officer child. Anyway, when he was back in the headlines with similar allegations, a lot of people were telling him to just out himself, and when he was finally ready to do it, he did. In an interview with GQ, he spoke of why he felt the need to lie about his engagement and the support he felt he would have from his old friend Biggie Smalls about how his regular engagements began. He said, "The best way I can explain it is that I was so me into doing it that it became a part of me. It's also the rush of get horny, A, and B, you know 1 + 1 = 2. You get horny, go out, get your ish. It became a part of my routine. Even though I was fearful, there was a part of me that felt invincible too." On how he felt the first time being caught, he said, literally dead in the casket in the coffin. Then on why he continued to lie, he was like, it wasn't even about losing the job. The perception was going to be about me, and that people was still going to want to stand behind the Mr. C brand. How was I going to be able to continue to support and take care of all the people that I care about? He was also asked if he was gay, and this was what he said: absolutely not. And it's no offense to transgender women, but I only get with transgender women for one thing and one thing only, and that's for oral, okay? Like I said, I never had dash with a man. I never had dash with a transgender woman. Then he was asked about if Biggie would support him, and this is what he said: I know Big stands next to me. I have no question in my mind. In hip-hop, you know who's phony, you know who's hypocritical, you know who's real. So not only do I feel like Big has my back, I feel like every person that I have written for in their afterlife, I think they got my back as well. Now, the question many people were asking themselves is, why would C think that Biggie would be okay with what he was doing? Was it because he also had similar tendencies, similar engagement? As you think about that, let's move on to Tupac and why we also have people believing that he went through some nasty, nasty things when he was in prison. What happened here was that Tupac Shakur and members of his entourage were charged with the saying a female fan who would later be identified as Ian Jackson.
I was hysterical. I know Fuller was like, calm down, calm down. He's like, Ayana, calm down, just relax, calm down. And I'm like, no. And I'm like, don't touch me. At that point, I'm pretty much in a compromised state where I'm nude, my clothes are ripped off. I'm feeling very much vulnerable. I'm like, and he's like, listen, go to the bathroom, get yourself together. And that room had a bathroom that was off to the side. I went to the bathroom and I kept telling him, I just want to go home.
The Brooklyn woman who had previous relationships with Pac a few days earlier claimed the incident was perpetrated by Pac in his entourage when she met them in a hotel room at New York's Parker Meridian Hotel, but Pac claimed the encounter was consensual throughout the entirety of the court proceedings and even pleaded his case to the public by talking about it. But as you are aware, he went to prison because of the incident.
Steady telling me to stay out of trouble. He's steady telling me to get everything right back together again, because he could have told me anything. I went to the jailhouse and everything, and he gave me a lot of good advice. I appreciate it.
Okay, I'll ask you all the questions I think your fans and friends want to know. Anything that you can't answer, you just stop me, because I know tomorrow is the arraignment.
I get sentenced tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so you tell me when your lawyers have asked you to stop. The girl who claims that, what did she claim?
I can't even say it, man.
Okay. But technically it's a case.
Okay. It's a case in where I have females saying that. I can't say it, but okay. It just bothers me so much, you know what I'm saying? To go through my life and everything I did in my life, coming out of a family and a household with just women, to get to this point, to have a woman say that I took something from her. You know what I'm saying? Because I know.
Okay, word on the street is that you had a relationship with this woman prior to all this friction.
I guess if you could say that's a relationship. I bumped in a club, I seen her in a club, and something happened in the club. I can't say over the air, but something that...
Okay, let's use a clinical term. Word on the street?
Okay, word on the street
that there was oral copulation.
Yeah, she performed those dance floor. Now, it's a lot of guys out there that can say what they wouldn't do and what they would do, but when it happens, it just goes down. You know what I'm saying? And it's really... and everybody want to be it's just cool, but it happens. Man, things happen, man. It's like when you're in this position and with the lights and the cameras and everything, people do some crazy things, and I do crazy things too, So, but I paid for that. I paid for enjoying that little moment, because.
Okay, but wait a minute. Let's not get this mixed up. Situation that was separate.
That's separate in the club.
Yeah.
Then this same female, like about 3 days later. She came, can't say, but she filed a charge against me and said that I did so-and-so and so-and-so.
Right.
Now, even though, I couldn't come up and say what her name is. I can't even say the woman who's charging me, even though she said Tupac Shakur. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I say her name, they can sue me. That's just how it goes. You know what I'm saying? So I just got to take the case and go to court. Now, even though the court, for that case, that's not 2 years. That's a far case.
Oh.
But these brothers, I'm getting sentenced tomorrow. All the cases where I'm so-called guilty, they tomorrow. All the cases that I can fight, they way in the past, and they'll deal with me in the newspapers.
Now in 1995, Miss Wendy Williams started spreading a rumor that Tupac Shakur was sought in prison. And after she said that Tupac spoke openly about Wendy Williams, saying he was hurt by her statements because they were disrespectful in his own words, I got beat with Wendy Williams, saying I gotta stay in jail because that disrespected me, my family. And what I represent, Tupac also said that what made him even more furious was the fact that people believe the lies now as much as Tupac himself denied the rumors. The allegation was used against him in diss tracks by blogs, and after a couple of people repeating the same allegation, people actually believed it. And that's not all. We also had speculations and rumors going around that Tupac was also willingly hooking up with men while in prison. Baby Tupac himself never stated publicly that he was anything else apart from being hetero, and he had relationships with several women during his lifetime. He was also married at some point in his life and even had an engagement. But if you ask some people, they will tell you that his looks, behavior, and even social contacts were enough receipts that the gangster womanizer persona was fake, and he was gay. In fact, many people point out to a video of Tupac that resurfaced from when he was 17 that also made a lot of people say that his entire womanizer persona was fake.
3 things: respect, knowledge, search for knowledge. It's an eternal journey. That's like my haircut, the line. 360 degrees, find knowledge, always. And she taught me to not be quiet, to, if there's something on my mind, speak it. Like at work, I can't hold a job. I just quit my job today, actually, because I wanted to come and do this, and they wouldn't let me. And I felt like it was important, and it was more important than serving pizza, and we had enough people, so I felt like since I'm an actor, they should understand. They should have let me do it, but they didn't. And then I had a cold, so they were making me work in a freezer. And I'm really not one to be disrespected, and I felt like that was disrespectful because I asked to go, you know.
Most of the responses to the resurfaced video were pretty much the same, with people saying how they now believe Tupac was gay. As you can see in the video, Tupac was what some would call soft, unlike how he became once he started rapping. And what many people are saying is that the Tupac from the video when he was 17 was the real Tupac. I mean, we have people commenting things like people still in denial and think he was a masculine thug, and he got the right ear pierced. If you were not 90s kid, you know what that means. Dude was gay. Those hands don't lie. Tupac was no gangster, just a good actor, and he gave the people what they wanted to see. Just sad that he thought he had to be someone who he never was, and paid the price like he was about that life. To all the young people before pronouns and rainbow flags were popular, and ear piercing on your right ear was the biggest signal. In addition, it was also revealed that Pac was a theater
going on, you know. Yeah.
And what was Tupac doing at the party, yo?
Him and Puff was there together. They was there, you know what I'm saying? Puff and Tupac was like a couple, seemed like to me. It was just a lot of weird on it, you know what I'm saying? That's why I don't know how they fell out or nothing like that. They was road dogs, you know what I'm saying? They even got pictures of them. He got on that blue sweater with the turtleneck, him and him hugged up like this with the black hat. Have you ever seen that picture? Yeah. That picture there, they was at that party that day. Yeah, it's just like a bunch of weird shit. Yeah, that's weird, dude. Yeah, bunch of.
Again, I know that some people will say that it all doesn't make sense considering what Tupac also said about Quincy Jones. There was an interview back in the day where Tupac said that Quincy Jones asked him if he could stick it in his backside. The only problem is that if you look on the internet, you will not find that audio anywhere. But based on what Tupac said and how he said it, he supposedly made it clear to Quincy that he did not roll like that. So was he also just acting when he said this? Personally, I wouldn't even care how he chose to identify. But if he was being forced to be somebody else, then that's something else. Well, I guess we are never going to know for sure, because Tupac is no longer with us, just like we are never going to know what really happened with Biggie, because he is also not here. But I would still love to know your thoughts on people suddenly blowing up the claims that Pac was gay or bi, and that big he was too. Let me know your thoughts.